welcome to episode 26 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. My name is Laura and this is my knit night. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and if you're a new viewer, then welcome. I hope you enjoy yourself. If not, there are plenty of others out there. I'm sure there'll be someone to your taste. This is my knit night. This is the bit of my week where I get to come and chat all about my knitting, because I have no in the flesh, real life knitting friends. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram as The Lonely Knitter and on Ravelry as The Lonely Knitter 2. I have lost my train of thought. Ooh, this is not going well already. Yeah, so I'm coming to you from the most easterly point of England, and yeah, I sit in my house and knit. I live here with my husband and my 2-year-old daughter, and yeah, knitting keeps me sane. I've been knitting every day since I was about 17, and I've actually been knitting since I was about 5, and it actually does keep me sane. We have a knit along going along at the moment. I don't think I said the date. Today's the 10th of February if you're watching this far in the future. Yeah, today is the 10th of February and we have a knit along still going on. My knit along, the hashtag notgoingtoeyfkal, is still going on. It is an all-inclusive knitting and crochet make along really, but you can find it in the Ravelry group for my podcast, the Lonely Knitter podcast group. There are already lots of gorgeous finished objects popping up, and it is a knit along just for anything that you can knit yourself if you're not going to EYF but you wish you were going to EYF, or even if you don't wish you were going, but if you were going, what you could wear. So people are putting in hats, people are putting in gloves, mittens, you know, jumpers, all sorts. Anything that you could knit for yourself to wear to EYF. If you're going to EYF but you're not going to EYF, then you can enter into the knit along. We have some fabulous prizes. I may insert a picture here. I may not, we'll see. Yeah, with just some of the prizes, because I've been holding them up most weeks and there are quite a few now. So there are prizes for the chatter thread, there are prizes for the finished objects thread, and if we carry on getting Instagram posts, like I'm thinking if we get over 50 and they're from a wide variety of people, not just one person posting the same thing 50 times, then I will pick a post from there to win a prize as well. But yeah, if you post on Instagram with the hashtag notgoingtoeyfkal. Also, we're very close to 250 subscribers on the channel. This is a big deal for me. I'm pretty excited because it was only like a week and a half ago that I hit 200, and now all of a sudden we're like 8 people away from 250. So if we get to 250, or when we get to 250 hopefully, I will do a giveaway. I don't know what of yet, it could be anything from this house. I might make some things. I have been wanting to make some more project bags and put them into my shop for a while, and just don't get the time with a 2-year-old in a house full of stuff and all the knitting I want to get done. I don't get the time, so hopefully we'll get that sorted. I might get something made up on Tuesday, we'll see. So if you are watching and you fancy hitting subscribe and you haven't already, I would love it, and it will mean that very quickly we would get another giveaway. So yeah, subscribe, thumbs up if you like what you see, because the more subscribers I get, the more thumbs up I get, the more YouTube puts me out there and makes me even less of a lonely knitter because more people find us. Okay, I'm going to jump in because otherwise this podcast is going to drag, because we're coming up for 4.5 minutes and I haven't even talked about my knitting. I'm going to put my whip down and crack on. So my first finished object of the week, and I have 3. I'm pretty happy with that. 3 finished objects, and the first one being, I forgot my sock blockers. I'll be back. This is the sock dance. These have lived in this gorgeous, gorgeous cat bag. It is cat bag. It looks like a fish bag, but actually it's a cat bag. And there are all the cats. In this gorgeous cat bag that I got from Norwich Creative Market, and I can't ever remember who I bought it from, and I feel awful about that, but I can't remember. I'm sure it was in a video a while ago. Anyway, these are my champion socks. So these socks, when I knit them, they have two specific stitch patterns running throughout, and I was really thinking about two women. So Kelly from Lakeside Yarns and Jane from Family Tree Yarns, they both sent me yarn at times. So Jane sent me this set of minis, and Kelly sent me the minis that I showed on last week's episode with my Show Us Your Scraps socks, out of the kindness of their heart, and I have designed patterns from them. And yeah, so there's two stitch patterns for these two women that have been amazingly supportive and just the sort of women that raise people up rather than tread on. So but there's been a lot of people like this, you know. There's been a lot of people since I have started podcasting and since I have started becoming a bit more active on Instagram. There's a lot of people that I have connected with who have just been like all the people that I seem to meet. No one wants to squash you, everyone wants to raise you up, and it's just amazing. Anyway, so I knit these socks. They are knit from a set of five 20-gram minis. I used one for the cuff, and then I didn't use this one again, so there is loads left of this. I can't remember, is that storm? I can't remember because I've lost my ball bands because I lose them all the time. This one is French Fancy. This one was Babe. This one was Vino Collapso. And this one is my favourite, and I can't remember what it's called. Jane, if you're watching, I'm sorry, because I love this one. It's actually my favourite. Anyway, so I striped my minis and put in two stitch patterns, this one and this one. See them, they go all the way around the leg, and they make, especially on the leg, they make this wavy appearance on the blocker. I think when stretched out over the foot it would be a little bit less wavy, but yeah. And then it carries on just on the top of the foot, and every time there is a colour change there is a 1x1 colour work row. You can see it best here. So these socks are done, and that means that they can go in my box of socks. Now I am writing this pattern up. I have already written up my Show Us Your Scraps pattern that has gone out to some fabulous testers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will write this pattern up, as I also need to write up actually a couple more patterns that I have finished. Again, it's just getting time to sit down with a laptop without a crazed 2-year-old running around. I would feel guilty, like I can knit and do other things, but I would feel guilty doing something that I can't do other things with. Like, so I can play with my daughter and have a sock just in my hands, whizzing round and round, not really noticing, but I can't sit there and type out on my laptop and concentrate and parent, and it's not fair on her to leave her then bored and with mummy just on a laptop. So Tuesday this week I have a day of holiday because I have one day I had to use up before the end of the year, and this is just the day that they allocated me. But she is still going to go to my mother-in-law's for the middle part at least of the day, so I should get at least like 4, maybe like as much as 6 hours alone. I don't remember the last time that happened. Actually I do. It was in the car on the way to Waltham Abbey Wool Show. 2 hours there, 2.25 hours there, 2.5 hours back, all alone. It was lovely. Couldn't knit though. But yeah, I'm gonna get some time alone, so I'm gonna do stuff like that. Anyway, so my box of socks that I showed you last week, and now it has my Show Us Your Scraps socks and my champion socks both sat in there. So we are only like, we're not even halfway through February, and there's already 2 pairs of socks in this box. I'm very proud of myself. So hopefully that will fill up. And there's the bag. Here are the minis that I had left. So that cuff, I only used the grey for the cuff, so there's loads of that left. And these were 20-gram minis, and there's loads of the Babe left. Oh, here's two of the ball bands, French Fancy and Vino Collapso, I knew those. Here is what's left of the Vino Collapso in two little balls, because I actually started a colourwork design, which I quickly frogged because it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. So this one just happened to get snipped. And then, this makes me happy but sad at the same time. This is all that's left of these two, and this one was my favourite one. Yeah, there's barely any left of them, but still enough to go into a scrappy blanket, like a magic knot ball. And they're going in here. So last week I showed this vase from Home Bargains for $1.99 because I like a bargain. And I said I was going to pop in there all my little minis. Basically, this is just for when I am knitting on a scrappy blanket. I'm going to grab them out one by one. When I am swapping minis with people, I can grab some out of here. And I'm really hoping to swap some advent calendars next year. I would love to buy one. I'm really hoping to buy Kelly of Lay Family Yarns. It's just whether or not I can afford it at the time. Everyone's got a budget. I'll just have to wait and see if I can. But she also did last year, and I'm hoping she'll do this year, a advent calendar swap where you swap 5-gram minis with a partner. I had an amazing time doing that this year, and I'm really hoping I can convince Jane, who I was partnered with last year, to swap with me again. We'll see. She got the rough end of the deal this past year because she's an indie dyer and hers were amazing and mine were just scraps. But yeah, I'm going to see if she'll swap with me again. If she won't, no biggie. Don't worry, Jane, if you're watching this, I'm not going to like beat your door down and force you to swap with me. But I was thinking I'd make up a few advent calendars to swap with people because I'd love to have a bundle to open. It'd be so fun. But I'm happy to put in the work to swap with people for their scraps. So if there's anybody out there who's got little 5 or 10 gram scraps that they want to swap at Christmas, I am collecting all of mine. So I've gone through the house and I've grabbed all of the ones out that were gifted to me in the last half of last year that I've used parts of and not all. Quite a few of these are leftovers from the Mina from the Knitting Expat. She sent me a load in the yarn wishes granted, and I used them to make Curious Handmade Helen Stewart's cowl. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but the advent cowl. And so there's quite a few leftovers of those, and probably these will all get used up in a scrappy project, but I'm hoping to make a ton of other scrappy things this year, so there should be, and socks and all sorts, so there should hopefully be way more where this comes from. But I might have to get a second vase because this one is filling up quickly. I have got another vase that isn't anywhere near the same, very different shape, but I might not use it for any flowers this year and put yarn in it instead. So this bag is empty now. And oh, that was a long talk about one FO. Let's go on to the next one. This is my second finished object. And I haven't woven the ends in, and it's fine because it's my podcast, so whatever. And here it is. This is a cowl that I have designed. Again, this is a design of mine. So I knew I wanted to do a colourwork project because myself and Katie of Geordie Knits are planning a colourwork knit along starting in April, beginning of April. My brain's just gone totally blank. She has an amazing flax along going on right now, and she has a Facebook group herself, which is so lovely and friendly and wonderful. And when that flax along is done, we're going to use that space to start up the stranded colourwork, or just colourwork knit along, and it'll be between her Ravelry group, my Ravelry group and the Facebook group, I think. We haven't worked all the details out, but it made me want to start, I'd wanted to do a colourwork design for a while, and this just popped into my head, and I had some knitter's graph paper and I was drawing all over it, and this is what I came up with. So this is my pattern. I am currently calling it the South Beach Cowl. I have not checked Ravelry to see if there is anything like that already, but basically in the town I live in is this coastal town. We are on the seaside, and there's two beaches. Well, there's sort of, not really, there is, but I like South Beach, so the south side of Lowestoft. It's beach, and then like walkway and beach huts on quite a nice bit of it. And this is supposed to represent the deep water, and then these bits are meant to represent the waves breaking on the sand, and these bits that go down the middle like this, there's these blocks, are meant to represent the, are they sea defences? When I walk along there, there's like wooden things that come up out of the water up the beach. So yeah, they're like big wooden bollardy things. Oh, that's bad. Up, and then this line of grey is the walkway, and then here are the beach huts along the top. I don't know if everyone's going to think this is absolutely naff, but I actually love it, and it's a nice shape that sort of stands up, which is what I actually quite like. I mean, I'm fine to wear it like that, or like pulled down, or like that, but I quite like it when things stand up a bit. So that's my newest design, and again I'm going to try and write this up this week. Everyone likes to see the insides of people's projects, right? I love to see the insides, I love to see the floats. I think they're pretty even. This has not been blocked because, oh, I like that side more than the outside, I think, because it's acrylic. I needed something to knit it with. I knew I wanted to knit it in DK. I wanted it to be really squidgy and warm, and I just wanted it to be in DK. And I didn't have anything in stash that was indie dyed that was suitable. So I grabbed the only thing I had at home that was solid colours, and it was Stylecraft Special DK. And I love it. It's really soft, it's really squidgy, it's not scratchy at all, and I think my colourwork is pretty even. It's probably not 100%, but I think it's pretty even. So yes, you can't really block it out because it's acrylic, so it won't have that give that natural fibres do. But I love it anyway. I am going to knit a sample in hand-dyed yarn because I think it is brilliant if you can recommend an indie dyer that creates something absolutely beautiful. So I have been in touch with an indie dyer, hoping to buy yarn from Terry Dow, otherwise known as the Ungrateful Wench. I was recommended her by Katie of Geordie Knits, and I have been on her Facebook page, and she has a ton of gorgeous yarn, like colourways, and reasonable prices, and just gorgeous. Go and have a look because it's beautiful over there, and she has really good recommendations on Facebook as well. So the you know, where you can rate people, it's really good. So I think hopefully we'll come up with something lovely. I've been a bit of a pain. I've been like, I don't really know what I want, but so hopefully I will have this in a few weeks knit up in something really, really gorgeous. So there's that. And my next finished object is another cowl, and this is again a pattern of my own that I haven't written up yet. 3 finished objects this week, and they're all my own designs that I haven't written up. This one I have knit already, again, ends are not woven in. I have knit this already. I knit it a few weeks ago in Noodle Soup Yarns DK in the Death Metal base colourway, and it's gorgeous, and I can't find it in this house. I think Ellie's had it. I've already taken pictures though, luckily, so it's fine. But this is a second one I have knit. It has not been blocked, so the stitch definition, like the pattern, it looks a lot more obvious when it has been knit blocked out. It really changed in the Noodle Soup Yarns DK when I blocked it, so I'm thinking it will in this as well. This yarn is Lay Family Yarns Unicorn Party colourway, and I love it. I've had it in my stash for a while, didn't know what to do with it. Tried a start of a shawl design and it didn't look great, and then I've been basically wanting to knit with it ever since because it's been caked up, and I've been like, I want to use that, it's caked, it's ready. So I wanted to test the pattern out again before I wrote it up, and so I did it in this, and I think you can see the pattern. I showed it to my husband, he was like, I can't see diamonds. Basically there are these flat diamondy shapes, so it needs a good block, but I think this yarn is lovely. There are these running slip stitches throughout the pattern, and then it is a moss stitch that forms then a panel, a diamond panel in the centres. So it's a really simple and quick knit. I cast it on last night after Ellie had gone to bed, and I finished it at lunchtime today, and I didn't knit on it that much this morning. So again, this one's a lot floppier than the other one, but I love it. And I love the colourway, and this one is, I think, something that is going to have to stay with me because I really like it. I don't think I can gift it. So yeah, Unicorn Party from Lay Family Yarn. Kelly is fabulous, and you should go and buy her yarn. So that's it, my 3 objects. Oh, and this, haven't said what I'm going to call it yet because I've been like debating on it for quite a long time. I've been calling it the House Points Cowl because I'm a bit of a Harry Potter lover. I'm going to Harry Potter Studios this month. Got it for my Christmas present. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Harry Potter lover, and I kept thinking about like a diamondy shape pattern, and then a diamondy shape pattern that followed one on top of the other. And then I've been rereading some of the Harry Potters. I watch Harry Potters, like I read some of the online stuff about Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter. I like all the stuff. I like all the geeky nerdy stuff, but Harry Potter at the time that I'd started thinking about this pattern was right there in the forefront. And so in Harry Potter they get house points awarded, like the students do, and there's these hourglasses, and there's gemstones in the top half of the hourglass, and when they're awarded a house point, gemstone will drop down into the lower bulb of the hourglass. So Gryffindor has rubies, Slytherin has emeralds, Ravenclaw has sapphires, and then I think somewhere online at some point, I think Twitter, J.K. Rowling said that Hufflepuff have diamonds. I'm sure that's what it was. And I was just thinking like of a gemstones, like a diamondy shape, and then up and down, and so yeah, that's where I was thinking about it from. So I don't know if that is a rubbish name, but the House Points Cowl was what I have been calling it in my head. So whether or not I go ahead with that, tell me if you think it's absolutely awful. If it is, I'll think of something different. But yeah, so this is the House Points Cowl, and it's seriously simple. And this is knit from fingering weight yarn held double. My other sample from Noodle Yarns was DK, so this has used up 1 skein. Well, there is a tiny bit of leftover. Here it is, my little ball leftover, my little mini leftover from my cowl from 100 grams, held double to make a DK sort of weight, and that can go in there with that one. Yay! So we are really near getting to the top. Anyway, so that's all my finished objects for this week. All done. Let's crack on to whips. I'm going to power through the rest, guys, because last week was long. This is already getting long. It's getting late. We're going to power through. So, first whip is my Tegna by Caitlin Hunter, Boyle and Knitworks. It has not changed since last week. I think I've knit 3 rounds, maybe 4. I need to get on this. And actually, look, hey, it's sort of, I love this colour. I don't know if it actually looks good on me, looking at how certain people are supposed to wear certain colours depending on your skin tone. I love red and oranges and red and bright colours. I love red. So actually, quite enjoying wearing this top on the podcast. I am wearing pyjama bottoms. Batman, well, Batgirl pyjama bottoms on my bottom half. It's like those newsreaders and they're all wearing suits and you think, I bet they're wearing shorts on the bottom. But I can't really wear this top in public anymore because I put quite a lot of weight on since my wedding, because I was losing weight for my wedding for as long as I can remember, and then my wedding was done and I ate all the pies. So this top is right, like it ends like here. There's a lot of blubber underneath the top. Like where the top ends, the blubber is still there. Can't wear this in public, but I get to wear out the podcast because you can only see me from here down. I mean here up. Ooh, here down would be an awful podcast. Laura, crack on, girl. So Tegna, a little bit of work, not much. My weekender has had no work. It's lived in my car all week and had nothing done on it. here in my, oh, and my Tegna is living in my Gilly Makes bag, which is my pin badge. I don't have many pin badges, but it is my pin badge bag. And in another Gilly Makes bag, in this gorgeous, gorgeous Gilly Makes bag that has been going everywhere with me, is this Snoopy bag. I've shown it before. My Felici, oh, my purse. Ha! I didn't know where I was looking for my purse earlier. It's in here. Some Knit Picks Felici socks. They are just vanilla socks. I said I was going to cast these on last week, just so I have some more plain socks on the go that can just whiz along whenever I'm doing something that needs, I can't concentrate on. Next we have, oh, this bad boy. I said last week I was going to work on this, and I have. This is my coastal crochet knit, crochet along, not knit along, coastal crochet. Who is in the name? Crochet along blanket that I started last year, way after the crochet along has done, from Eleanor Tully. She is Coastal Crochet on Instagram, and basically every week or twice a week she posted a couple of rows of this blanket, and it's a stash busting blanket. Well, I stalled before my wedding because I was knitting all the hearts and all the little things for my wedding, and I didn't pick it up after. So this week I said I was going to, and I have crocheted. I finished this blue and I started at this pink. So this pink in the basket weave, and then some wave stitches, and then these ones that were supposed to look like deck chairs, and then some like shells, like scallopy sort of ones on the top. So I have gone from there to there. So it is growing. I don't know if you can see the bottom. Yeah, there's the bottom. Here. It is growing. I really want this for my daughter's bed when she moves into her toddler bed out of her cot. So I'm going to crack on, try and get a bit more of this done. I stopped here after I worked on this a couple of nights in the evening, and I stopped. I'm not the fastest crocheter, but I started getting wrist pain and pain down the side of my hand, and I don't normally get that, so I stalled a little on that. But I will pick it up this week and carry on. And the only other thing that's had a few stitches on this week that isn't a finished object is my Northeasterly blanket by Skeindeer, Melissa Alexander Loomis. She is fabulous, and she is on Instagram and everywhere as Skeindeer. This is the Northeasterly blanket. If you don't know what it is, where have you been? Mine is pathetically small. I started it with these set, I think they're from Steampunk Sheep Yarns, this set of 5 minis, and then carried on with my Rain's Gone advent calendar minis from Family Tree Yarns, and I decided I wanted to build on there because I wanted to see what it would look like with more added on. So when I get to here, I am then going to go back to the first one and go, and then yeah, I'll go to I think the length I want it to be, and make all 3 the length I want them to be, and then carry on, rather than doing loads of short ones and then having to go back and add on. So that's had a little bit of love. I finished this section. This is not 1 yarn, this is 2. I don't know if you can see in this light, but there is a change. This is actually 2 separate minis, and I've just now joined on another. So this bag has a bunch of more minis in that I'm going to be putting into this blanket. And that's all the things I've worked on this week. Plans for the upcoming week: I'm going to carry on with my Tegna. I'm going to carry on with my Weekender. We'll pull that back out. I'm going to carry on with my Coastal Crochet blanket, and this, my little toiletry bag that my parents went back from South Africa, will have, it has these unfinished Shoshi Scraps mitts. There are 2 pairs in here, as well as all of the rest of my advent calendar minis. So I'm going to finish those 2 pairs of mitts, hopefully this week, we'll see, and then those minis will go into the Northeasterly blanket bag to go into that blanket. So, oh, I'm going to knit another flax for my daughter. She loves the one she has. I'm going to knit one out of acrylic so I can bung it in the washer over and over and easily wash it. I am going to knit a flax at some point for my friend Lily. She bought the yarn ages ago. She showed me a picture because she got it delivered, and I still haven't had it because we just haven't seen each other. But I want it knit in the flax along. I want it to go in while I'm doing, I want it to happen while I'm doing the flax along. So I'll start Ellie's flax this week, hopefully. And I need to ball up my minis. I have some lovely bluey greeny minis that need to be balled up for the Pisces season make-along that is being held by Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. She's also, she's written Nadira Tani. She's on YouTube. If you search Nadira Tani, you'll find her, same as Instagram. So I want to make a pair of scrappy socks for that out of those minis. So I'm going to ball them up, have them all ready with, I mean, whips are allowed, so I could start earlier, but I've got loads of things to do. So yeah, so I'm going to do that. So we're on to stash enhancement. I'm going to power through this as well, though I do actually have some stuff to talk about. I bought from one shop this week, and I have been gifted some things this week. The stuff I have bought is from a shop that many of you may not appreciate. But I do, and this prompted me to have a little chat about yarn snobbery. So we've been talking online a bit about yarn snobbery. There's some people put things in their podcasts. There has been some designers that, I mean, one designer shared a post where someone had said, if I see any more plastic wrapped in plastic, yeah, I don't need to carry on. There's no yarn snobbery in this house. I have yarn that is, I've paid £25 for 100 grams, and I have yarn that I have paid £4.99 for 400 grams. It's all about budget, man. Like, I cannot always afford to buy indie dyed yarn, even though I wish I could all the time, and I'm okay with that. I will knit whatever happens, and acrylic has served me well in many a time, and I am not gonna bosh it. I would much rather buy indie dyed yarn all the time, because it would mean that my bank balance would probably be really healthy and I could afford all this yarn, but I can't buy indie dyed yarn all the time. So I went to Aldi. I wasn't going to go to Aldi. I was very happy with the yarn in my house, but all this online chat about all these Aldi sales, that didn't bother me. Aldi always sells yarn. It pops up every few months. But what bothered me was the people whinging about it. Now, yes, Aldi may have got quite a lot of publicity from people going, look at the bargain I got. This happens, what, once every 3 months, 4 months? At least around here it's all that happens. There are people saying that, oh, you don't use your local yarn shops and you're going to Aldi. I use my local yarn shop all the time. I use online indie dyes all the time. This is a totally different product, and it's really cheap. And I was not going to a yarn shop this week. Couldn't afford it. I was sitting there thinking, nah, look, I've got a tenner. Like, there's nothing I want for a tenner. Nah. When I went to Aldi for some broccoli, and for less than a tenner, I got all of this to add into my stash. I was not going to buy extra stash from my local yarn shop this week, but I was going to Aldi. Like, my local yarn shop gets my business nearly every week, like maybe every couple of weeks. I've been a bit poor recently, but all year round. Aldi, every now and then I spend a tenner. Not like, I'm sorry, but work with what you can and be happy. Just let everyone be happy with what they've got. Like right now, I haven't got the budget for tons and tons of gorgeous hand-dyed yarn, and I watch people like Dunderknit, Caroline, with her amazing sweater quantities of gorgeous Madeline tosh, and I sit there and think, wow. And that is it. End of. No judgment, no jealousy, envy maybe a little, but like I'm happy for her that she gets to do it, because if I had the money, I would be doing it too. So just let everyone be happy with what they have and no judging. This was $3.99 for 4 balls of their baby yarn. This stuff, I have no idea what this stuff is, but it is really soft. It even has a hole that says touch me. It is really soft. I have a pack of this exact same but in the pinks and white upstairs that I haven't opened, and a pack that is all pink, no variation on the yarn colour at all, that I haven't opened. I am going at some point to knit or crochet them into NICU blankets, if they'll take them. I don't know if they would take fluffy, I mean I'm sure they would, but they're, you know, machine washable acrylic, so I'm going to make NICU blankets at some point when I get some time, or other little things to give away for charity. This is going to be Ellie's flax. I'm going to take it out of the plastic. So So this is Aran Weight yarn in the Damson colour. Cool. It's no longer plastic, wrapped in plastic, it's just plastic. And yeah, there are 400 grams of acrylic. Oh, actually, I'd just like to point this out. It's 75% acrylic, 25% wool. Haha, there's wool in here. Anyway, so 400 grams of Aran. This should be enough to get Ellie another 2 to 4 year size flax this week. So fingers crossed, I will crack on. Maybe it'll be enough for a flax and a hat. Can't remember how many skeins I used for her little one of the drops. But yeah, so this is going to be a flax. It's purple, it's lovely, and it does the job. So I got that. So that's all I spent on yarn this week. So I think that's really, really, really good. I need to count out my tally at some point for the whips and getting rid of the whips in this house, but not this week because depressing, man. But yeah, so that's what I bought, but I was also gifted something. So you might have remembered from a few weeks ago, I was going through my whips, and one of them was my Hexie Puff blanket, which was not very big, like about this big, all tied together. And I said I was going to put it in the bin, and the lovely Sharon of the SCR1TNO podcast said she would adopt them for me. So I sent them off to her with a couple of tiny other little bits, like just tiny other little bits. And she messaged me back and was like, I want to send you something in return. She did not have to do that. I did tell her she did not have to do that, but I am very, very grateful that she did. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Sharon. Because what she sent me was amazing. And actually really funny. So she sent me these amazing goodies in return. She blew my Hexie Puffs out of the water. This is amazing. First of all, she sent me this lovely set of minis from Hedgerow Yarns. Well, I love my minis, as you know, because I've already shown you my giant bars of minis. But these are going to have pride of place on my stash shelf that lives in the living room, and they are just beautiful. So they are Hedgerow Yarns minis. They are 20 gram minis, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 85 metres in 120 gram skein. So gorgeous. Thank you so much. She sent me this little goodie. This is a So Sweet Violet purchase of hers. I have not got anything from Jules of So Sweet Violet, and I really like her podcast. And it is this beautiful little globe progress keeper, and I love it. So I might put that on one of my whips from this week, so you can see maybe the Tegna. Maybe that will make me work on my Tegna if I put a progress keeper on there, so you can all see that I haven't worked on it if I don't. But this is the last thing she sent me, or the last thing I've got to show you that she sent me, and it is amazing. And it is mostly amazing because I went to Waltham Abbey Wool Show in January, and I went back to the Dragon Hill studio booth multiple times, had a lovely, lovely chat with them. Got shown, I think it was Tunisian crochet, which was totally new to me. Like, had a lovely chat, had a lovely time, but I didn't buy anything because my yarn budget was not huge for the day, and I had hit it already. And these were out of my price range to add on. I would have had to take money out of a bills account, and I didn't want to do that. But these were there, these amazing self-striping cakes of sock yarn, and this was the one, I'm pretty sure this was the one I wanted. I loved it, I knew I wanted it. It has sparkle in it. Didn't buy it. Was sad about that. And then it turns up in the post. It's like fate meant me to have this. And I was talking to Sharon about it, and she actually bought two. She bought one at a show and one online. Didn't realise that it was already the one she bought online. So, and it just happened to come to me. So this has come to live with me, and because it's come conveniently caked up, this will be, I'm hoping, probably my next vanilla sock after the Knit Picks Felici one. So my amazing skein from Dragon Hill Studio. So thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate it. It really brightened my week on a week when I had already really spent all my yarn budget and went over it with like less than a tenner's worth of stuff from Aldi, but was still feeling a bit hard done by. Yeah, thank you, Sharon. So that's all the stash enhancement. We're on to chit chat. The first bit of chit chat is the yarny chit chat, so if you want to hang around for the chit chat, this bit is the yarny chit chat. Unravel is coming up in a couple of weeks, and I've been saying I'm not going to go, and I've been really sad about the fact that I've said I'm not going to go, and that is because I kept thinking I can't really afford it. I could probably afford the petrol to get there. It's a 3¼ hour drive according to Google, so without traffic. I could probably afford the petrol to get there, and actually when I'm there I got paid to get in, I can do that, and then I might be able to afford to buy a couple of little things, nothing too major. That makes me sad. I want to buy all the things, and I kept sitting there thinking, if it's going to be over, it's going to be like 6½ hours round trip, if there's a little bit of traffic, you know, 7 hours round trip to get there and back, plus a long day at a show, talking to people, feeling exhausted, because in my house talking to my phone, I'm and like can come across quite loud, and yeah, I get incredibly anxious about talking to people I don't know and going up to people and saying hi. So when I left Voolenvine show, actually the drive home was lovely. 2 hours of listening to Becoming by Michelle Obama, just in my car on my own driving home, was actually really lovely, but I was knackered, and the thought of doing a full day at a show and then driving 3 and a bit hours home, I'm like, whoa. But I think I need to man up. I've driven further. I've driven from here to like Cardiff and back. Like, you know, the long drive is not an issue. It's just me sitting there thinking, oh, would it be that great if I have to drive 3 hours there in the morning, you know, leave at 6 or whatever, and then drive 3 hours back in the evening, probably won't get back till 10. And I'm sitting there thinking that actually, but what in the last week has been happening, because I made the decision I wasn't going to go. In the last week though, I've been sitting here going, oh, miss out. I don't want to miss out. And I'm going. I think I'm going to go. I'm hoping to go on the Saturday. I'm hoping to meet Sharon from the SCL1TNO podcast. Hi Sharon. I'm hoping to go on the Saturday. If I just need to get childcare, because on the Saturday afternoons when Norwich City play home games, my husband has a season ticket and he goes. And that's the one thing that he has. He doesn't have any other hobbies. He doesn't have any other like things that he does outside of work, and I don't want him to miss the game. He would miss the game for me. He always would. He's done it before and I know he would, but I don't want him to. So if my mother-in-law can take our little girl whilst the football's on, so he'll have her in the morning and then he'll take her to hers, drop her there, he'll go watch football, pick her up afterwards. If he can do that, then I will go on the Saturday. If she's not around and can't, then I'll have to go on the Sunday. I think we'll be okay. I think there'll be someone who can help us out. So I'm hoping to go on the Saturday. It's also quite nice because I have to work a late night on the Monday, so if I have to go on the Sunday and I come back late, then I'll be knackered at like 10:30 at night on work on the next day. So I think I'm coming to Unravel. If I do make this happen and you see me, please come and say hi. I am the most chicken person in the world. Sally, if you're watching, she can you know, say that that is the truth, because at Voolenvine show I saw Danny from Little Bobbins, and every time, like, she walked so close to me, I could have done this and tapped her on the shoulder, and I didn't because I was a big chicken, and also because she had a baby, and when I had a baby that little and she had a bottle in her hand, like, I just want people to leave me alone so I can feed my baby. So yeah, I saw Danny multiple times at Voolenvine show, and every time Sally was like, just say hi, she's a normal person, and every time I was like this, totally frozen. I can't do it. I'm so chicken. I did a major brave by like full on waving at the girls from Knit 3 Together podcast. They had no idea who I was, I think, to start with. but I'd spoken to them online before and said, I'm coming, I'm gonna come and find you. So yeah, like, I'm a major chicken. I really want to go, I really want to buy some stranded yarn, Stranded Dye Works yarn in person, and Amy from Stranded Dye Works is going to be there vending. I really want to buy some of her yarn. Also, there's this amazing, I was looking through the vendors and there's some totally amazing ones. River Knits is going to be there, and I've been looking at these braids they have. They're like multicoloured, they're like minis all braided, and I've been looking at those mini skein sets. I looked at them at Yarnporium, and I looked at Waltham Abbey, and I've not been getting them, but they are like 40 quid, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to afford them this time, but I'm hoping they'll have more in the future. But you know, I just like to see all these ones. There's some amazing ones. There's these ones that have these woven baskets. I would love a woven basket. So yeah, I'm going to have to decide very carefully what I want to spend my money on, because I am not going to have a lot of it to spend. So hopefully this time, instead of like at Waltham Abbey, I walked around and just went buy, 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 buy every time I saw something I liked, and then halfway through had run out of money and couldn't buy the rest of the things that I saw. I was like, oh. So I'm going to be really good, and I'm going to walk around everywhere before I buy anything. But yeah, I'm going to go. So please say hi to me, because I am awful, and if I recognise someone, I probably won't say hi to them. I spoke to Nathan, Sockmatician Nathan, at Waltham Abbey. I was buying stuff from him. I felt I had a good in there to say hello. And I got a picture with him. I was very brave and asked him for a picture. But he won't remember this. He won't remember me at Waltham Abbey, because I'm a nobody, and there was loads of people speaking to him, and he speaks to some major biggins. But that wasn't the first time I met Nathan. I met Nathan at Yarnporium when he was running late, and he didn't know where he was meant to be for a book signing, and he was waiting in a corridor, like looking around trying to work out where he was going to be. And I said, "Are you okay?" Because he looked really frazzled. Not really frazzled, he was just like, I was like, "Are you okay?" And he went, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing a book signing here, but I'm not sure what room." Well, I had no idea what room he was meant to be in, and I was of no help at all, and it was already past all my brave. Like I'd used all my brave up by going, "Are you okay?" and he was like, "Yeah, I've got a book," and I was like, "I know who you are. I've been waiting around." Like full on like that. I went, "I know who you are. I've been waiting around." Like something out of a horror film. It's probably looked like. So hopefully, if I ever meet him again, I'll be normal that time too. But I was normal at Waltham Abbey. But yeah, like that's the face I do when I meet podcasters or people I recognise but who don't know me. Like, and I'm trying to explain who I am. I'm like, I'm too scared. I'm too scared. It's awful. It makes me feel sick, physically sick. So I was talking to Katie about it, Geordie Knits, and she was like, "You have to just put your podcaster face on." The thing is, my podcaster face talks to my iPhone and no one else. So I don't know, I'll try my best. It's fine if people come up to me and say hi. If people come up to me and say hi, I'm like, "Hi, thank you for not leaving me alone," because I'm so grateful that someone's spoken to me and I'm not just walking around like this all day completely on my own. So I love it when people come and say hi to me, and then I can talk to people about the show and about the yarn and all the goodies. I'm absolutely naff when it comes to actually walking up to someone and introducing myself. So please come talk to me if you see me. Okay, so other things that have been going on this week. Geordie Knits. I mentioned Geordie Knits already. Let's carry on. Katie, she is fabulous. If you don't watch her podcast, go over there and subscribe, because she is brilliant and you should be watching hers. She follows Twine Swedish on Instagram, and they put a call out to see if there's anyone interested in organising like a swap, and she said yes, and some other big people all said yes. Katie is a big person, told her. Not big, like YouTube big. Oh, sorry Katie. So they all put their heads together and came up with the Solidarity Swap, hashtag solidarityswap 2019. And it is a Ravelry sign-up swap. The sign-ups are open until February 28th, and I'm in. Why aren't you? Basically, it's two swaps. You can sign up for one or both, and one is a in the flesh like yarn notion swap, and the other is a pattern swap. I think it's a brilliant idea. Go over there if you are interested, but basically I've written down what they wrote on the page so I can read it out if you haven't seen it already. So they're leading a pattern and yarn swap to connect those who want to get to know each other and learn from each other whilst embracing the diversity of the fibre community. They want to celebrate the work of makers from marginalised groups, especially Black, Indigenous and people of colour, designers, yarn dyers, etc. in our knitting community. So off the back of all of these discussions we've been having over on Instagram about inclusion and diversity and racism in the knitting community, I just thought this is such a nice positive like thing that we can all do to have a little look around, make a little work for ourselves to make ourselves all feel a little bit more inclusive, a little bit more diverse. Yeah, I just thought it just looked really lovely. I just think it's a really nice thing to come out of everything here, and hopefully the discussions will continue, but this is just another little highlighter of, you know, the fact that diversity is a brilliant thing, and you know, it's good to be different, it's good to experience other cultures, other communities, and to learn from each other. So yeah, I've signed up. Go sign up. It actually looks really good, and loads of people have signed up already. I'm very, very proud of Katie. She's a big person now. She's definitely going to take me with her on her journey. I've told her she has to take a cut out of my head to Edinburgh Yarn Festival to introduce to all of these amazing makers that she's getting to know. Sorry, Katie. It's tough. You're in now. Anyway, so yeah, go and sign up. But I haven't. I can't see why you wouldn't. So even if you don't want to mail out a package, you can do it with just a pattern. So anyway, I'm not going to do a big rundown of all the podcasts I've watched this week and what's been going on in them. I'm just going to tell you who I've watched. Like, this week I have watched, because last week it took ages. Geordie Knits, Katie, fabulous. SCR1TNO, Sharon, just had a new episode out. Crafthouse Magic, Ellie, lovely Ellie. I had a few of her episodes to catch up on. Skeindeer, also an Ellie, new episodes this week. Stranded, Amy, new episode. I've been catching up with old episodes of Amber the Yarn Hoarder, and Quirky Monday Craftcast, new episode this week. Kalisha also goes as Nadiratani online. Dunderknit, Caroline, had a new episode. The Knitting Expert, Mina, had a new episode. The Project Bag, Gemma, had a new episode. Mean Girls Knit, Rebecca and Stephanie, had a new episode, and I've been catching up on some of their older ones. Voolenvine, Kristen, had a new episode, always beautiful. By the Lakeside, Sandy and Sticks Plus Twine did a half and half on each of their channels. I have watched all of the one on Sandy's channel and about half of the one on Eric's. I need to get back to that one. The Girls in the Yarn Cafe, Tristan and Christy, I've been watching their back episodes. And Once Upon a Corgi, Gabby, she's had a new episode. So I've watched quite a few this week. Other little things that have been going on this week with knitting stuff, I have been taking part in the Fibre-uary, probably haven't said that right, challenge, and the Yarn Love challenge on Instagram, posting a picture every day under the themes that they give you, and really enjoyed myself. I had a day the other day when it was my Fibre family, I think, on one of them, and that one I really liked because I just thought, like, my Fibre family is you guys. It is Instagram, it is the podcast I watch, so it's not necessarily, I've got a bit of fluff, like, you know when you get like, feel like something's flying around. Yeah, it's not necessarily the people that talk to me, it is the people that I sit and listen to and feel like I'm having a conversation with, even though I'm not. So it also makes me sound really crazy. But yeah, not necessarily just the people that talk to me, but also the people that I watch. Just everyone. Like, I read your posts, I watch a lot of podcasts. I don't sit down and watch them all, they play on my iPad while I'm doing the washing up, or putting things away, or tidying up, like, well, not hoovering, because I can't hear them. But yeah, like, just as I'm doing things around the house, there is usually someone on, like the radio, in the background, and then I lean over and watch whenever anyone got, like, a new stashquisition. Who did I pinch that off? Was that Diratani? Was that Kalisha? Someone said stashquisition and I loved it. So yeah, that's definitely really coming across to me, especially as, you know, I've got over 600 followers on Instagram now, over 200 subscribers on YouTube, and that is, neither of those are numbers that I ever thought I would get to. So So the people that have done that for me, they make me feel included. They make me feel like I have a fibre family that I never felt like I had before. So that is everything knitting wise for this week. Other things that have been going on in my life: Monday I worked late, Tuesday I worked a day, Wednesday I went to baby gymnastics, I went to Aldi, I went to the park, and my daughter had a screaming fit. We had to leave. We were in the 1 hour free parking, so I didn't think we would be there that long because it was freezing. Our friends were in the paid car park and had paid for an hour and a half, so we had to leave a half hour before our friends. I couldn't, if I'd had to go and move my car, I would have had to take my daughter with me anyway, and then I'd have to pay for an hour and a half because that's the minimum amount of parking you can have, and I didn't have change, and it would all have just been a pain. So we had to leave the park, and I had my first full-on out in the middle of the park, like out there, just total meltdown. It was awful. I've not had anything like that so bad before. I tried to walk her away from the pirate ship climbing frame. I gave her a 5-minute warning. Like, she's 2, she's not going to understand any of this, but I gave her a 5-minute warning. I was like, we have to go in a minute, so one more go around the slide. And then she really wanted to go again, so I was like, okay, one more go, and then we've got to go. Went down it again, went to go on it again, and I was like, no, we do actually have to go now because my parking has actually run out. We need to go. Full-on meltdown ensued. She was just trying to scrabble to get to the slide again, and I was like, no, come on, and I picked her up and tried to carry her off. She was struggling and screaming. It looked like I was trying to kidnap a child from the park. It was awful. By the time we got back to the car, which took probably triple the amount of time we would normally take to get to the car because she was struggling so much, and she's not a light little thing anymore, she's a heavy girl. And she was just kicking at me, and like at one point she like headbutted me in the chin, and it was so painful, and I was on the verge of crying. It took so long to get back to the car because she would not give in. Then we got back to the car, and I had to take her big puffy coat off to put her in her car seat, and she just laid on the floor in the car park. It was damp, it had been raining. She just laid on the floor screaming, wouldn't let me pick her up. I had to promise her Jaffa cakes and my phone to get her in the car. I am not above bribery. All these parents who are like, oh, just wait until, nah, you can have a Jaffa cake, get in the car. So she did get in the car. She cried all the way home, and we got in, she cried some more. She hadn't had a nap all day, so she was overly tired, and the only thing that cheered her up was multiple Jaffa cakes, eating half of the chocolate orange that I had bought that week for myself, and watching endless episodes of Postman Pat. My Wednesday afternoon was a definite bust. Thursday, we didn't do a lot, but she had a swimming lesson in the middle of the day, and then Friday we had a house day. I didn't get out of my PJs for most of the day, and we just cleaned things, tidied up things. We poured out all of her old toys that she doesn't play with anymore, decided which ones were going to the charity shop, which ones we're going to keep in case we have another baby at some point, and which ones we were going to put in the bin that were broken. There was a few broken toys, had to go in the recycling bin, and then which ones we're going to keep. And we tidied everything. We now have a box that just has Play-Doh and colouring in, and we have a box with other things, so musical toys are in one box, and it's very organised and lovely in my front room. Still way too many toys, but you know, what are you going to do? Saturday, we went to the Start Right Factory. I love the Start Right Factory. If anyone lives near Norwich and has a child and pays crazy amount of money for shoes, don't go to the Start Right Factory. So Start Right Factory near us, and it has a factory shop, and they have the front room that has the normal price shoes, so the same price as like when you go into Clark's, and they're $39.99 for a pair of children's shoes. Now my daughter has this, you know, it's 3 months. She's had the last pair of shoes she had for 3 months, and she's outgrown them, and she's now up a size. So I don't want to pay £40 for one pair of shoes that are only going to last for like 12 weeks. It's crazy money. So we went to the Start Right Factory, and they have the first room that is all the expensive, like, well, normal priced shoes. And then you go out into the second room, like the back room. It's quite a big room, and it has all previous season's styles and colours, and then also ones that are slightly not perfect seconds. So the Velcro straps, one might not be quite the exact same length as the other. Things like that, so minor things. This time we got her 2 pairs that are both perfect but just last season styles. she got a pair of gorgeous like pumps with velcros that are pink patent with cats on them, and like so each shoe is a little cat, and another pair of trainers that are the same as the one she got in November, but just in a few sizes up, and we bought both those shoes and paid $27.99 when one pair of shoes in the front room is $39.99. It's crazy. Kids shoes, like if I had to pay $39.99 a pair, I'd never buy yarn again. Yeah, and we went shopping and did boring things, and then today was the Norwich-Ipswich game, so my husband went to that. It's a big deal. Norwich-Ipswich is a big deal. It's fine, Norwich won, so my entire next week will not be naff because he's in a grump. Yeah, he went to that and we stayed in and had another quite pyjama-y day, and I have gone upstairs and moved the printer and a massive chunk, nearly all of my stash, from the spare room into our room. I've moved some of the furniture around in our room. There's now a stack in the corner between two dresses with boxes of stash in. My overlocker is now in our room. My sewing machine is now in our room. Printer's all set up and ready to go. The telly that used to live in our bedroom in the flat we used to live in is now in our room. All these things, I'm hauling them out of the spare room because that's going to become Ellie's bedroom. I think we're going to leave the nursery as it is. In case at some point we have another baby or whatever. Even if we don't have any other babies, she's going in that bigger room with her toddler bed because we want it to be a nice, she wanted to have the bigger room. She's got a lot of toys, she needs more space. So she's getting that. So that's it's a dumping ground. It's not a craft room, it's a dumping ground at the moment. So I'm slowly working everything out. So loads of stuff has been moved out today. So yeah, that's about it. That's everything. This is a long episode. Sorry folks. I meant for it to be really precise and like fast, but there we go. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we have a knit along. Go and join in. Anything you can knit for yourself. Whips are allowed, and you have up until EYF is over to enter things in. Even if you just go in for a little chat in the chatter thread, a little conversation, you'll then be eligible for prizes, of which there are many. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you so much. If you have watched all the way through with me, this is a long one and I am sorry, and I am very grateful for your company. Don't forget to subscribe if you fancy it. When I get to 250 I will do a giveaway, and if you fancy a thumbs up as well, I love you for it. Every time I get a new follower on Instagram or a new subscriber on YouTube, I'm like really happy. Could do a little happy dance. Sometimes do a little happy dance. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed, and thank you so much if you've watched. Thank you so much if you've come back for another week, and thank you so much for, as always, making me much less of a lonely knitter.